All right, welcome back to the first Race BMX show in quite a while. The last one was Jeff Botima, whose forks are coming out soon. Legendary 80s rider. COVID's kind of put me on a lower capacity of output right now. Now right here, we have Daniel Hendrick Lether, AKA letherheadflyz on Instagram. And one of the reasons that he's on the show, there's a little story behind it. I'm working over at Box right now, and my boss Toby was discussing the strength of bikes with some of his industry friends, and they dragged me in the office, and they're like, what do these guys do on the bikes? And I thought I'd do a build-up, so I'm like, oh, of course wheelies, and then they ride around on the front and staircases, and I was getting ready for the jump stuff, and they're like, whatever. And I was like, curse to myself. And then I go back to my office, and just by weird coincidence, I open up Facebook, which if you're work with me, I didn't actually do that. But so I open up Facebook, and I'm on the 24, 26, 29 page, and there's this dude riding down the slanted wall of the LA River, and then he hits a ramp made out of a plastic picnic table. He jumps over across the water. The whole crowd's going crazy. So I screenshot that and put it on the group chat. And then that's instantly followed by a message, we need to make the bike strong. The bikes need to be strong. Then about a month-ish later, I'm at the Harbor City ride. Shout out to the Harbor crew. And I see this guy in a Race Inc. I happen to ride for Race Inc. right now. Not right now. I ride for Race Inc. They've been giving me bikes, and I've been promoting their stuff. They're coming out in September. And this guy, Raymond, who's very nice. What's up, Raymond? He has a beautiful Race Inc. And I'm like, hey, can I get a picture of my Race Inc. with your Race Inc.? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I saw you on Instagram. And he goes, hey, have you seen the video of my bike jumping? And I'm like, oh, you jumped your bike? He's like, no, I loaned it to this guy. And I'm like, you loaned that beautiful bike to somebody to jump? And he's like, yeah, he jumped over pickup trucks. And I go, why'd you loan him that? And he goes, well, I trust my build. And I go, well, did you see that LA River video? And I did suspect that they were both the same guy, but I wanted to hear him say it. And he goes, that's the same guy. And he goes, stay here. And then I stayed there, and Raymond shot away on the beautiful racing. And he comes back with Daniel. And I'm like, oh, man, you did all that. And this kid here turned out to be a real nice person as well. And so I told that same boss over at Box, I showed him a few more videos. And also, my own group chat, not related to the work thing I just told you about, one of your videos popped up on there. And the one where the bike where the handlebars move.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all like, oh, this guy cased his cranks. Or, no, he bent his forks. And I could see in the video it was your handlebars. So I'm like, hey, Toby, can we put some handlebars on this guy's bike with the oversized stem and the bars? And he's like, yes. And so here we are. Someone new to me, to the scene. I'm not sure how long you've been around. I'm going to ask you the first questions I've asked everyone that ever comes on the show. What was your first BMX bike?
My first BMX bike was a 20-inch GT race bike.
And you raced, right?
Yeah, I started racing over here in Orange. The track used to be off of the 55 in Chapman.
Okay.
So they just tore it down about a few years ago.
Oh.
We were all bummed out, but that's where I was 4 years old, started racing, and fell in love. Just been riding ever since.
And when were you racing and jumping, or were you racing and then started jumping, or you just were a natural rider? Or
Yeah, I started racing. My dad built me ramps right out front of here.
Your own
Lived
dad
here.
built the ramps.
Yep,
All
my
right.
dad built me some wooden ramps. Jumping a little beater mongoose bike. And then I started riding dirt bikes, so all that came into play, hitting dirt jumps and just having fun.
Do your dirt motorcycles and your BMX bikes, are they a crossover and executing stuff?
Totally.
Oh, really?
Totally
Okay.
go hand in hand.
I suspected that, but it's like the fact that the motorcycle has an engine and all your power is coming from the accelerator, you're still using the same skills and balances when you do the bike.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, really? Okay. How much did that contribute to what you do now on the BMX bike, which we'll get to?
That's the whole foundation where I got it from. Just the racing and the dirt track and dirt jumps, flying on the track. It just went over to building a ramp and flying over whatever I can.
Okay, now, since you're mentioning dirt, I would have gotten to this later. What's the deal with when you do it on cement? Is there a different mental, in like, do you even think about it, or am I the one that's thinking about it and you're not thinking about it?
That's that's probably like my little downfall. I don't think about it too much. I just kind of go for it, but definitely a different technique for the landing purposes.
Okay.
As in
No shocks.
less impact on your wrist. Try to keep it away from your wrist. So I try to do back wheel first to take most of the impact, and then come onto the front wheel. Land
Okay.
down on the front wheel. But that's probably number one thing.
And then I ask all the guys that do stuff like you. You can see, I mentioned Toby. He has an episode you can watch on here. Now going to mention Dave Volker. He's like my age, but he still does some of the stuff you do.
Okay.
And
the way you want to. I think it's a fresh canvas is what I like to call it, because we are kind of artists, you know, we're thinking outside the box. How else could I ride this bike?
asked him, like, are you crazy or is something missing? Are you brave? You know, do you have an different equilibrium than the rest of us? Or in your case, is it just because it progressed properly? Or you also just see things differently? Because I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'd say it goes a little bit of both. You know, you got to have a little bit of crazy in there, but you have to have the technique to back it up.
Do you make yourself calm before a jump, or do you make yourself hyper before a jump? Like,
Oh no, I try to breathe and focus on it, definitely.
can you see the people that are standing on either side of the ramps when you're doing it, or does it just come down to the tunnel
Oh
vision?
no, tunnel vision for sure.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And what's your favorite jump that you've done? There's a couple pickup truck jumping videos, the river, that piece of lawn right outside of here. What?
The crash.
Yeah, yeah. What is it like when you crash? Do you know what you're doing when you crash, or are you like, ow?
I would say I kind of have from a wrestling background in high school.
Okay.
So more of the tumbling and rolling to your feet, because somehow every time I go down, I end up on my feet, which is like I'm lucky, but also the background of that wrestling moves, the technique or whatever, it helps me out a lot.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Actually,
the
you wear a
tumbling.
helmet, right?
Yes, I try to wear a helmet as much as I can, but sometimes I get excited and just go for it.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do tricks, but that's a big thing now. People, you know, no one was wearing helmets my whole life, and now it's important, and I just can't stand the idea of putting it on my head, but I know it's probably better than the way I do it.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, because I've had many accidents. I've had 3 concussions. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't wearing a helmet. When I was younger, I had another BMX accident. You know, hit a chain and landed straight to my head on concrete, and luckily I was wearing a helmet, and I still don't remember what happened after. My mom ended up taking me to the hospital, and you know, even the doctor said if you weren't wearing that helmet, you wouldn't be here right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
It was
it's a
that's what.
lifesaver.
Okay.
For sure.
But you still get excited once in a while and go for it.
Yeah, if I'm not feeling comfortable with it, I can hit it, you know, without a helmet. But if I'm going big, I'm putting a helmet on.
Okay. And you jump 26s, not 29s. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what's the reason for that? Because that's specific to this crowd.
Yeah, definitely. I like keeping the 29 to the wheelies, strictly to the wheelies. It just, you know, it feels better, the big wheel, getting it up there and holding it up. But I mean, I can fly way better on a 26-inch too, so I can throw it around, you know, do whatever tricks I want to do.
Plus, you can probably land it better. It's much more controllable, right?
Yes, definitely.
Do you have any heroes that led to this, or it was just your own thing?
Just seeing the old school stuff, them doing ramps, the ramps to flat, you know, jumping over as many bikes, or it's pretty much more of the ramps to flat, you know, no landing ramp or.
And
You
this
know-
was something you saw on YouTube, or you saw some of the older guys you ride with?
Just yeah, videos all over the internet, videos sent to me from friends, or even my dad, you know, showing me videos of him. He started on the Stingray, doing wheelies on the Stingray.
Oh, get
like,
out.
Yeah, it's just It's basically all from my dad. You know.
Is he a jump guy also?
Um, he jumps a little bit, but now we just do the mountain bikes. But
Okay.
Yeah, growing up, he's taught me everything. He's rode. He's had motorcycles. So.
I had a Schwinn Scrambler, which is basically the BMX Stingray. So
Oh,
yeah, so he's probably about my age. Oh, that's cool. So is he still ride bikes?
Yes, he still does.
Oh, so you guys
Yeah.
ride like family rides sometimes?
Yeah, just me and him. Sometimes my brother. We do a couple trails in Fullerton or here in Irvine. A couple mountain bike trails.
Your mom already told me you have a whole half a dozen siblings, right?
Yes.
Do any of them ride like with you, or
I'm getting my youngest brother into it. He has a 20-inch right behind me, so that's awesome. Seeing my little brother, teaching him all the stuff, But other than that, my other brother, he cruises sometimes here and there. He's built a couple lowrider beach cruisers.
sure?
But other than that, just me and my younger brother, doing the BMX stuff.
Okay. Now, do you cross over into freestyle? I mean, I know you wheelie, and then with the wheelie culture being the way it is, like, and then you doing the jumping, like, are they two different worlds to you, or is it one thing? And
I think it's two different worlds. These younger kids doing those combos, like, they're insane, and I stay away from that. I stick to the jumping.
oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't. So even though your skill is like crazy and is what it is, you're saying you see them do crazy things that you're not interested in doing.
Yeah, that's a whole nother world. But I'm more focused on the jumping.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
really funny. Okay. Now, also what I liked after watching all the videos and talking to you, you go to the trouble to make a show out of it. Right? I mean, you
Yeah.
do. You pull up with those ramps. Everyone's around. It's not like you're just like occasionally do a thing and then go brood in the corner. Like, do you have a show business part of you, or are you show offy? What is it?
It's just all my friends, coming together. It helps with, them setting their bikes up. I need more bikes.
Right.
So, but all the friends, meeting all these new people, it's just awesome, and them helping me out, even them encouraging me, like they've helped a lot.
Okay. So, well, first I got to ask, what's the most bikes you've jumped at this point?
The last one was 20. I think it was 20.
I feel like you said 23 in one of the videos, but that's the one where you didn't really crash, but you didn't make it, right?
I landed but didn't roll away from it, so I got to do that again.
Yeah. What do you count that as in your own head? Is that a loss?
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay.
really count.
All right, good. I would feel the same way. Yeah, you're like, I got it. So, what was the one you did totally land perfectly? How many bikes was that?
It was 15.
Okay.
15, a clean rollaway. It
Okay.
was on top of a parking structure in Santa Ana, so.
Okay. Do you prefer your ramp? What makes you comfortable with that picnic table the guys hold for you? Like, that part was insane.
Yeah, that was in the beginning when that's all I had in the back of the car, so just popped one of the side of the legs down and just went for it. I was like, I knew once I hit it, I can bunny hop off of it, and then clear that gap, so I kind of knew like I had it.
You're using it as almost like it just shoots you up in the air,
like
right?
a little step up kind of,
And
yeah.
are these just random guys holding it for you, or are they guys you've known your whole life?
Oh
And-
no, yeah. I've known them for years, and they're real friends, so they're down for me.
And they're obviously strong enough.
Yeah, they're stronger. Couple older guys too, so it's
Yeah.
it's out.
Yeah, I mean, it looks awesome, but once I looked back at the video and I saw that it was a picnic table, I'm like, he could have just rode right into the side of the pickup truck, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
It was almost leveled, yeah, with the angle, and
okay.
I was like, I pushed it back so I have room to bunny hop and get up and then go over.
Yeah, I mean, for you, it's almost like once you're in the air, you're safe. You just need to launch yourself, right?
Yes.
And then you got to be able to land it. And then I always ask this question second. In the old days, after, what bike did you start on? What is your local ride group? Which I know the answer, but they don't.
The club I ride with is a Smog City BMX. Great group of guys that I met, and they wanted me to join. So we do a lot of fun rides together. And
Did you just find them at a ride, or they just found you at a ride? How'd
Yeah.
you find your first ride?
in the beginning, when I first started, they Q, we call him Q. His name's Vic. Shout out to him. He brought me into Smog City with all the guys, and the rest is history.
Yeah, so I mean, like my first time of these big rides, some guy recognized the Ripper I had at the time, told me about the rides. I looked it up on Instagram and went to 4130 Subway Series and then the Thursday. How did someone find you on the street, or how did you really end up at the ride?
I saw it on, I think it was Todd Lyons posted it.
Okay.
The first one was when Kobe passed away, that ride. There was
Okay.
a ride that day. So that was a pretty big ride in Venice. That was my first ride. And ever since then, been going, following the pages and going to the big rides.
Yeah, because for those of you that may live in other areas where these rides aren't everywhere, like in LA, you find the one, but once you find the one, all 100 people tell you about the 100 other ones, and if you're having fun, you're off and running after that. Do you have a favorite area to ride, and do you like riding in the big groups, or is it, once you've done your show, do you usually do your jumps at the beginning of the ride or at the end of the ride?
Lately at the end of the rides.
Okay.
Yeah, when everyone's chilling, in the parking lot, and I can get them all together and throw their bikes, and then get the bikes ready to jump.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming you're not out there drinking beer, right?
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of the guys like to drink, so if you're like him or like me, I'm making videos, and then at the end he's like, well, what am I supposed to do, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I guess I'll just take these guys, turn them into an audience, and jump over their pickup trucks and their bikes, right?
Exactly.
When did you decide to do your first jump in front of everybody? It wasn't the Venice ride.
No, it was a local ride here in Santa Ana with all the close friends, all the new friends I've met, and after I brought my table out and I asked a couple of friends to back up their truck, and I just did the bed of the truck,
Yes.
make it kind of somewhat safer. But yeah, that was it. Asked them, they were super cool about it, and they backed it up, and we set it up and just went for it.
All right, now tell us the fun part. When the crowd went crazy, how good did that feel?
It was crazy. I was still surprised that I made it. And even the landing's still super painful. So I have sore ankles and sore wrist, and I keep the high top Vans on, to hold my ankle and that ankle support.
Okay, do you
Sure.
practice jumping when none of us are around, or do you save it for the crowd? Like,
Oh no, yeah, I practice a lot.
I actually was thinking that on my own one day. I was thinking of questions for this, but I'm like, is he just grabbing the picnic table and jumping stuff, or is he like practicing when no one sees him?
Oh no, yeah, I put in the work, but ever since I was little, just making my own ramps and jumping them and using the front yard at the hill out here as a landing, like a somewhat softer landing.
Right. So if there's any lunatics watching, he does work his way up to what he does. You don't just go grab a picnic table and jump your friend's truck. That doesn't make sense, right?
Definitely not.
What would you say to kids that are like you or headed your direction instead of the wheelie direction?
Number one thing, definitely wear a helmet and know your limits, but you got to push them every once in a while. But practice makes perfect with anything.
What does that mean, though? Like, and I agree with you, though, but like, tell them, like, what's pushing your limit and staying within your limit? Is it like a clarity of mind before you do it, or is it like the one extra foot?
It's definitely a mind game. So it's almost like be mentally strong. You just have to be confident and reassure yourself is the main thing.
Like your one video where you were telling the crowd not to rush you. You know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you wanted to line up more than once and feel it right. You, obviously from what we've been saying this whole time, you are mentally prepared not to give in to their pressure, right?
Exactly.
Because if you jump when they want you to jump,
Yeah.
It's not
going to end
the same.
bad, yeah.
Okay, we don't have to say it's going to end bad.
No.
Because the things you do are a little crazy, but you seem to do crazy things with an intelligent limitation attached to it. How was the river one? That one would look real showy. Like, I just love that one for some reason.
That one was pretty sketchy, but with the help of a couple homies, a good friend Garrett and Benzo, shout out to them. They found, so it was actually a cabinet door. Garrett set it up against his bike, and I rolled on it to test it. It was pretty strong, so I went back to the top and just went for it.
Okay, I have a different question. Did you guys find the cabinet door in the river? Or?
Yes,
Okay,
it was down in there.
I knew you were going to say that. So you just found a piece of garbage and then went to the top of the hill, and
Yep,
you're like,
a strong enough piece of wood.
and then
So,
he held it on the bike, though, right?
yes.
Okay.
I held it up against.
So that ramp was made out of a piece of garbage and somebody's bike, and you just went for it. Were you nervous
Exactly.
that time?
Well, before that, I gapped it with no ramp at all. So like I went as fast as I could. I pulled up as hard as I could and cased it. But once they found, so that's why I was like, I can go back, and since they found that piece of wood and set it up, I was like, okay, I know I can.
Wait, are you telling me you kind of bunny hopped it before that?
Yeah.
Because the amount of speed you had going down a hill made it possible, and then a super monster bunny hop?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And then you grabbed the cabinet door and put it on a bike and went even bigger.
Yes. Like I needed to land it clean, and that helped me.
Did all your ride friends really know you at that point? Or was that you're like, hey, I'm not just Daniel, I'm Daniel letherheadflyz?
The close friends were encouraging me. They knew I could do it, so
Okay.
they helped me. But then, yes, it helped out with everyone, now knowing that, Leatherhead pretty much can fly.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one of the things I liked about watching your stuff. It's not jumping stuff, but I've been doing stand-up for 30 years. I love a crowd. Like, it's
Oh,
fun
yeah.
to make noise, and it's, call it what you want. It's not really like you're trying to get attention, but when you do something well and the attention comes, it feels great, right?
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in jump board? I mean, I know you have a normal life as well and responsibilities, and you're living your life, but where would you fantasize that this bike thing is taking you? Is it a hobby, or do you just like slowly see yourself building up to some other? Oh, and have you jumped since we put the bars on there?
Yes.
And
I
do
have.
they make a difference?
Yeah, totally big difference.
Yeah, I'm not saying this for a pitch. Like, I'm genuinely putting him on the spot on the air because they have an oversized stem, and the bottom part of the bar is 31.6 instead of the normal 22.2 on a normal bar. So, and I was even assuming, I'm like, these are going to make it easier for him. But at the same time, I'm like, I hope it does. So, what does it do? Is it more solid, or what goes
Yes,
down?
definitely more solid. The bars, that clamp is amazing compared to the stock, because the stock ones, once I landed, it stripped and moved forward. But jumping with these, I've already jumped it, and that strong hold is just, it holds on.
Okay, now as a jumper, what would be the next thing you would try to enhance?
Definitely the forks, because
Okay.
I've bent a couple forks already.
You bent a couple. Do you jump on them after you bend them? Like, in my mind, they're done after one bend, but
I do little jumps on them still, because I'm still looking for, that strong fork.
okay. And back to Fantasyland. Okay, so you would do your fork next. What else would you do to a bike if you were a designer to make it better for what you do? Because I mean, you don't want to start putting shocks on it and stuff like a dirt bike, right?
Yeah, that's getting too much putting too much onto the bike. Definitely those, even racing, those extra gussets welded in
Oh,
to
like-
make the frame stronger.
When you jumped Raymond's bike, you felt like it was solid.
Oh yeah, night and day difference.
Oh, get out!
Yeah.
Oh, really? You think? And it was all gussets.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
Now-
the reinforcement.
Would you rather jump a 4130 more heavy chromoly bike, or are you better off on a lighter bike?
I would actually prefer that heavier, stronger bike.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was asking. Because DZ told me, which is another episode you can watch, that he doesn't want a lighter bike for what he does because he doesn't want to get blown around. He felt like the weight gave him more control. So
Exactly.
it's like a few pounds isn't going to change your distance that much, right?
No,
It's all about your landing over your
Yeah.
air, right?
the landing.
Okay, so back to
Yeah.
my original question. Where would you like to take your jumping? I mean, would you like it to get to the point where you're actually putting on real shows, or?
That, like, that's, I mean, that's a dream. But I've been, I'm working with Gunthers and Suavecito. Shout out to them. They're gonna hook me up with some gear, and I'm planning on jumping a couple of their classic cars. They're
Get out.
yeah, they have
No
some nice
pressure there.
some nice lowriders and some classic cars, some hot rods.
Are you, are they the lowriders that go up and down?
I don't think they have some of those. It's more like the old school hot rods
Oh.
type of cars.
Oh, really? And they're
Yeah.
gonna let you jump those?
We're in the works of it. I'm trying to convince them.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
But we're right there though.
Yeah, because they're like, when you're not around, they're like, I know he can do it, and they're like, but
Yeah, the nice car, the classic cars.
yeah, they're like, man, that's a $37,000 paint job on there. Like, we're gonna let him jump over them. Okay, so that would be great to see you jump a car like that. So you're thinking of like showy, like jump some stuff that shouldn't be jumped if it doesn't go right type of stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then where would you take it from there?
From there, I have no clue. It's just, I'm grateful for, how
Okay.
big it's getting, but I'm just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, you're not gonna put your whole life on the.
Yeah.
You're not gonna gamble to run out to join the circus and be a jump guy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What other? I mean, I know you can wheelie and stuff. Do you have another trick in the category of jumping that is like exclusive to you, or do you
Not really.
do you have any other friends that can jump like you?
There's a few practicing. I've been helping them out, so they're getting there.
Okay.
So
Personal friends, or just guys from the scene that have become friends through their desire to jump?
yeah, the guys that I've met, seeing
Okay.
them, encouraging them, now I'm getting them into it. So
Okay.
it's fun, more of us going off the ramp too.
Okay. Now, before we shut down, since this show really is about the ride-out scene, even though we, talk to the people who make our bikes and stuff a lot as well. Like, when I discovered it, I was blown. My mind was blown because I've been riding my 29 around with only two friends for like almost a decade, and then I get to LA and I meet hundreds and hundreds of people at one time. Like, tell me about your experience with that.
Yeah, seeing the first ride, that one was like, that Venice ride was huge. So, ever since then I've been hooked and been wanting to go back for more rides.
Is it because you found like-minded bike riders, and like, did you already have the 29 at the time, or what were you riding?
Yeah, I was on a Big Ripper 29er, so I was popping some wheelies on that, still practicing. But yeah, meeting all these new friends I've met, and the everyone's like, it's a good environment, everyone's super chill. Just makes me want to go back for more.
Okay, and then I got to ask you this just because it's the hot topic. How do you feel about the swerve guys? Like, would you swerve on a car, or do you think that's an issue, or you're like, just to each their own, or?
Yeah, it's I want to stay away from that. It's getting bad. Some kids are pushing the limit, and it's it's scary to watch. I've seen it on the rides, but everyone's to each their own.
Yeah,
But
it is scary to watch,
it's
right?
crazy though, for
yeah.
sure.
I don't want the swerve kids to think I'm anti-swerve kid, because I'm not. But like, watching you almost get smashed, or watching you almost smash us when you're swerving, that stuff bugs me. That makes my electricity go off. Okay, so that's not your. Yeah, he'd rather jump your car than ride at you on his rear wheel and then swerve away from your car. Is there anything else that we can share with them?
I think we covered most of it.
Okay, good. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to thank you for coming on. This is it's not a comeback because it's pretty consistent, but like, I'm glad the weather's good. We're all allowed to start going out again, even though a lot of us have been bike riding all through COVID. Right? That's how I got through COVID. It was riding small group rides with my friends and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right? Did you ride last?
Never stopped.
Yeah, never stopped riding. Totally legit. To the doctors and the cops and the antis, like, nobody stopped bike riders. And there was no traffic. Did you go in
Perfect.
downtown LA at all or any of those places?
A few rides, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's always crazy over there.
Yeah. Well, not like when it first went down, I did tons of rides where I've done every area between the bottom of the OC to the top of LA during that period. And we had the streets to ourselves. It was unbelievable. Did you get some of that in?
I've only done a few the Subway series rides, a
Okay.
couple, and those were the weekend,
Yeah.
Saturday night. So it was pretty busy, but
What's your home ride? What do you do? Do you have an every week ride? Is there one you don't miss?
I would say Monday nights in Santa Ana, the SoCal Clunker rides.
Okay.
Those are those a pretty big ride now, so that one's always a good time.
Is it predominantly clunkers or BMX?
There's a lot of clunkers, but the 29ers and the BMX, they're starting to collide.
That's
so,
true.
It's a little bit of everything.
Is that where you're doing most of your jumping at? Is it the clunker ride or?
Yeah, most of the
Monday?
Mondays. Yeah.
Okay. Mondays is jump day. Everybody. All right, man. Thank you so much for letting me come over. And
No worries.
yeah, we're obviously going to stay in touch, see how those bars keep going down. And we're both out a lot, right, to either of us on Instagram. And maybe we can even plan some ride, or we'll plan someone where you're going to jump some stuff, and we'll get something going on. This was the Race BMX show, and letherheadflyz, but with one E, not with an A. And Hendrik is your middle name? Where'd you get
Hendrik.
that from?
Hendrik is from my opa, which is grandpa in Dutch. So
Okay.
yeah, he's from Holland, and
That's right. You
Yep.
told me that before, because I was like, Hendrik, this guy sounds like he's from the Netherlands or
Yeah.
something. But that's where it came from. So
exactly.
there you go. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching, and keep watching. Go catch him on Instagram, maybe Facebook soon, right? He's a little young for Facebook. Snapchat, watch him jump. No, I'm kidding. But also come over and watch mine on YouTube. It's all over Facebook, but I think it helps to watch it on YouTube. It helps me. Help me help myself. All right, that's it for now.